Building credit is totally confusing. People always talk about this nebulous credit score thing, but I have no idea what affects it or even what a good credit score is. Well, the great people at Three Rivers have done a ton of research for me, and now I'm gonna pass it along to you, so lucky you. So let's take a look at what goes into building a good credit score. First of all, what is a credit score? Well, in a nutshell, a credit score is like a billboard telling everyone and their grandmother how financially responsible you are. This score is calculated by the folks at FICO, which stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. Anyway, this Fair Isaac guy calculates a score for you from 300 to 850. 660 to like 680 is considered a good credit score, and roughly 720 or higher is a great credit score. So now let's take a look at how the heck they actually figure those scores out. Number 1, payment history, 35% of score calculation. This one probably rates like an 8 on the obvious meter, but the first thing FICO looks at is your payment history. Pretty much any bill counts towards this, so your credit card, student loans, auto payments. Here's a few things you can do to get a passing grade in this section. A, pay your bills on time. It's not rocket science. Make sure to at least pay the minimum balance on each of your bills when or before it's due. Late payments equals bad credit. Makes sense. B, don't close unused credit cards as a short-term strategy to improve your credit. This can actually lower your credit score. In general, it's best to keep the first credit card you ever got, even if you never use it. Gradually increase the credit limit on your first card instead of taking out new cards. And C, don't always pay off loans right away. What? Yes, having a 12 to 24 month payment history actually goes a long way to boosting your score. Okay, number 2, amounts owed, 30% of score calculation. This is the amount that you owe on anything. If you owe a lot, Fair Isaac knows that you've got a lot of outstanding debt and will lower your score. A good way to combat this is keeping your balance low on revolving credit, which means now I have to explain what revolving credit is. So let's see, revolving credit is like a revolving door. And just like a revolving door doesn't have a fixed number of times it can turn, revolving credit is credit that doesn't have a fixed number of payments. The perfect example of this is your credit card, which doesn't have the same fixed payments every month, but rather revolves depending on what you use it for. I'm awesome at explaining things. Okay, so bottom line, don't max your card out. In fact, it's recommended that you only use 30 to 40% of your credit limit each month. Yes. Really. Number 3, length of credit history, 15% of score calculation. Wait, what? So if I'm young, it counts against me just because I haven't had time to establish credit? What the heck? Well, kind of, but that's only half of it. The length of your credit history is twofold and includes both the length of time you've had any credit lines open and the length of time you've had each credit line open. So opening credit lines at a young age can really help you in the long run, as it begins your history early and will look great later on in life, so long as you build responsible habits. But keeping the credit lines you already have open can help too. So avoid opening a lot of accounts, but stick with 1 or 2 and focus on making them really solid. Okay, number 4, new credit, 10% of score calculation. Okay, I guess this is pretty much the same as the last section, but it does give me a good opportunity to talk about the difference between hard and soft inquiries. Simply put, a credit inquiry is when someone looks you up to see all the debt you've ever had and what your credit score is. So a soft inquiry is basically like getting punched by a rabbit. It's harmless and won't affect your credit score at all. Soft inquiries include checking your own credit score, businesses checking your credit score to offer a promotion, and an existing creditor reviewing your credit. A hard inquiry, on the other hand, is like a bunny with bricks on his hands. It's a bit harder to deal with. Hard inquiries are when a potential lender reviews your credit because you've applied for credit with them. So examples include applying for an auto loan, a mortgage, a credit card, blah, 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 blah. Hard inquiries aren't technically bad. It's just that having too many of them can be. This is super complex and complicated, but basically what it boils down to is the more you can minimize the times you're applying for credit, the better. So for example, if you're planning on buying a new car, come to the credit union first and get pre-approved. Then the car dealer will know how much you can spend and won't be compelled to rate shop for you and screw up your credit by searching every bank in town. Last, number 5, types of credit used, 10% of score calculation. Whew. Okay, last thing is pretty simple. Mix it up. Showing that you can manage both revolving credit, like a credit card, and installment credit, like student loans, will prove that you are not only responsible, but versatile. I have an awesome vocabulary. Also, you should make sure to look for a credit card with no annual fee, like the Three Rivers card. And that's it. The whole complex world of your credit score tied up in a neat little bundle of knowledge. Still confused? Visit Three Rivers online or come to a branch. They'd be happy to help. It's It's all part of the many ways you can experience Three Rivers.